Happy Thanksgiving from Sarah and I here at Mindful Living Realty. I thought about not posting a video here at my regular time on Thursday afternoon because it is Thanksgiving Day. But then I thought, what better day to put out a video about a testimonial from clients who came here, are ecstatic about the property they found and ecstatic about how we help them. So here's Ron and Geri talking about how thankful they are to be here in South Dakota.
So thank you guys for joining me here today. So my first question for you is, tell me your story. What made you decide, okay, we're going to move to Winter East, South Dakota from where you're at, and what made you decide to make the move?
Peacefulness, area, beautiful, no traffic.
Yeah. Geri
No line at Sam's Club when you want to get gas.
Well, not always anyway.
Well, Geri was originally from New York, and so we've been married 17 years. She'd always wanted to live in a place that had a change of seasons. You know, she always enjoyed that growing up. I'm born and raised in Southern California. I've, lived there my whole life, never known anything different, and I was happy. So she kept talking to me for the last 10 years. We've been talking about, where do we want to move when we retire? What do you want? And we looked at different areas around the country that maybe met our needs, maybe not.
Yeah.
And just out of the blue, we'd never really looked at South Dakota. A friend of mine was looking and mentioned it to me. It piqued my interest, and we started looking, the Rapid City area specifically.
Right.
I did a bunch of research, and we came up here to look around and just absolutely fell in love with it. It checked all the boxes, and this was the place we didn't know about, but didn't know this is where we were supposed to be. So
Nice.
Happy.
Yeah. Glad that it worked out for you. So now that you've been here for a few months, what things are the things that you really love about living here?
We weren't even here 24 hours, and we were in our backyard. And the neighbors came over and introduced themselves. And who invited us over for dinner, who invited us over in their backyard to do a bonfire, go to dinner. Just the hospitality has been phenomenal.
Right.
Our neighbors have been amazing, but even anybody you meet, everybody's friendly, everybody's helpful. It's so much different than what we're used to. In fact,
even the seller for you.
Oh, the seller, he came. I was trying to figure out how to work the sprinklers, and I just couldn't get them to work. Well, the next door neighbor says, "Oh, I can check with Jeff, the old owner." And I said, "Oh, please don't bother him. I'll call the guy. I don't know what I'm doing." And 15 minutes later, "Hey, I got a hold of him. He said give you his number." I called him. He said, "Hey, I'll be over tomorrow." And he's been over 3 times since. And I bought his lawnmower and his snowblower. I mean, he's been over a couple other times to help me out with stuff and to do things, which is unheard of. I mean, somebody sells a house, they don't ever want to hear from you.
Yeah, that is very rare. Usually it's, okay, we're done. I don't want to hear from you ever again scenario, yeah.
And he's, and even he's been amazing. Geri laughed because she said, she goes, "We were in that other house. I was there for 17 years and I never knew the neighbors." And we're in the, middle of 170,000 people in Corona. And she goes, "We're here 24 hours. And I met the neighbors on both sides and, people down the street, everybody waves when they walk by." But even stuff as simple as, I had a dental issue. So I cold call the dentist. Now, down in Southern California, you want to go to the dentist, they say, "Sure, let's, find an empty day in May you can come to."
Yeah.
I called them on Monday, and they're like, "How about the 25th?" I said, "Well, next month?" "No, this Wednesday. You want to come on in? Well, we got room."
That's kind of nice.
So, yeah, it's...
The medical. I was a little skeptical at first.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Nice.
Yeah, coming from out of state, you don't know what to
Finding
expect.
doctors, and it's been easy, and I've been very impressed.
That's good to hear.
Mm-hmm.
So between the no traffic and friendly people, helpful people, wherever you go, it's
got to be what you're looking for then.
It was, it was everything.
What have been some of your favorite places to go visit?
Spearfish. It's on the top of my bucket list.
Yeah.
I love that area.
Yeah, it's been enjoyable just to even some of the downtown stuff, here, because we're about 15 minutes outside of town. So even some of the downtown stuff, but like, yeah, going up to, we're still exploring.
Yeah.
Looking at some of the different areas, and parts of Sturgis are kind of nice, but so yeah, we're just, and even the like we went through Spearfish Canyon, and just drove
In the fall, yeah.
Yeah, it's fall. I mean, that's another bucket list item if anybody has a chance. So stuff like that. But the problem is up here, that's everywhere. If you want to go hiking, if you want to go biking, if you want to see the change of the leaves, that stuff is, and it's all 15 minutes away. If I wanted to go fishing back home, it was a 2-hour trip to go stand shoulder to shoulder with somebody to go to a lake. I mean, here in 15 minutes, I could be all by myself.
In a number of different places.
Yeah. And I'm just, that's new to me.
Another area I love is, I've been there 4 or 5 times now to go feed the wild donkeys.
No, Custer State Park. Yeah.
Yeah, that, oh,
They are fun, aren't they?
it's wonderful. Love it.
So, yeah, we're just finding these out of the way. I have a motorcycle. I've ridden down toward Keystone and finding back roads and out east. And so, yeah, there's anything you would want to do, you can find it here, especially any outdoor stuff. And it's convenient.
Yep.
So,
yeah, you could be almost anywhere in under an hour at least.
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, if you want to take a road trip, you go to the Badlands, and it's an hour away.
Yeah.
So,
I haven't found my favorite Italian restaurant.
Oh,
It's Spearfish.
nice. Which one is that?
Known as,
Okay.
have you been?
No, I have not. It's good to know. Mm-hmm. With the Italian family.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
that's how.
So when it comes to moving out to the area, what about our services helping you move out here were the most exceptional to you? What things about our services helped you out the most?
Well, we came up here, and it was, people still tease me about it, because we came up here just to look around. And my friend had referred me to you.
Yep.
He used you, knew you very well. He said, hey, he's a good guy. Call Tristan, he's a good guy. Well, and we spoke beforehand, and you kind of asked me what we were looking for. We get up here, and from the start, I never felt like you were trying to sell me a house. You were trying to help me find my way. And we looked at 10 different houses, and you said, some you'll like, some you won't. That's okay, because we're just going to go hang out and look at some houses. And you had figured out what we were looking for, and from my input and from looking at houses, that evening you texted me and said, I found one that may check some boxes. We went out the next morning and looked at it, and it was literally exactly what we were looking for. And we looked around and said, okay, we'll buy it. And went back and sold our house. So we had the experience of being a seller and selling our house there and then buying one here.
What an easy process. You made it.
Awesome.
Compared to what we were trying to do in California, it was a nightmare. But here,
Yeah.
so easy. Thank you.
You were responsive. Anytime I had a question, if I called or, an email, a text, you were always responsive. You were always more than helpful. There were some things that we were trying to do from afar, and you went the extra
Stepped in
way.
and helped.
Hey, I need to find a fence guy because we need to get a fence as soon as you found me a fence guy. You took care of there was a couple of things that we needed to address on the house we were buying. You did that legwork knowing that, we're 1,400 miles away. So
Sounds good.
yeah.
But even the loan person that you recommended us and put in touch, I loved her.
Yeah. The loan, the title company, everybody was very receptive. They were very responsive. On our end, on the sale of the house, we had, so I know what helpful and good looks like because we had the exact opposite on our end. And,
Sorry to hear that.
Had a lot, just with the buyers, we had a lot of difficulties and a lot of complications. And I was trying to keep, you and the lender and stuff in the loop as when things were going along. But everybody was very understanding, very helpful, and it was, what can we do to help you make that, make that happen? So, which again was a unique experience. It was very nice and very helpful.
I'm glad it went smooth, because I know sometimes when you have the home sale contingencies on one end, you get snowball effects from other deals, and that can cause issues. So I was glad that at least on our end things were smooth
Yes.
and
Yeah.
move right along.
And,
So
and anything that crept in, most of it was time frames.
Yeah.
I was trying to keep you, hey, we got this content, we got a time period, but none of it really crept over. And anything that was a potential, you guys were on it early. You were addressing it early.
it's all about
working on
making
it.
sure that the other people, everybody knows what's going on.
Yeah.
It's not so much a matter of people understand, oh, we need to extend a little bit. That's usually not the issue. It's you don't tell them until the day of. As long as you get that give everybody expectation of what's happening, everybody's a little more easy to deal with.
And that's what I tried to communicate early and often.
Yeah.
But it was
Which
nice
I
that-
appreciate.
yeah, but it was nice that you were so. I didn't send an email and have it fall on deaf ears for a week. I mean, you were immediately getting back, and then we were working at, okay, what can we do? How come, I just, you would either say, don't worry about it, you're fine, I told them, or, okay, here's what we can do to keep it moving. So, this side could not have gone any smoother. From getting the loan,
Amazing.
getting the loan and dealing with that to the title people, the inspection, the extra things that you looked into for me or that you set up, and then just the process of like I said, it was zero pressure. I mean, we just went on a field trip and we stumbled onto a house.
That's kind of how it works.
And,
And we hopefully we stumble the right way. That's the way it works.
Just by moving here and retiring here, for leaving California, we saved $2,500 a month.
Yeah.
That's
Financially, it was a big difference. And just
Huge.
here in South Dakota, the costs are different. There's no state income tax and things like that. But yeah, everything worked out quite well. And the funny thing is, the house that we landed in, honestly, we came up and looked around one day and went and bought a house.
Kind of the way it works.
And the house,
We like it. Us realtors, we like when that happens.
and the house we were in, I bought 32 years ago. I don't go through that process very often.
Yeah.
I'm not big on change.
Yeah.
But going through that, it was quick and easy. But once we found that house and moved in, honestly, when we got that house, it's a nice house. It checks the boxes. It's got what we were looking for. It's a neat little neighborhood in a box canyon. And we thought, okay, we didn't know what we didn't know. And once we got there, found out just what an amazing blessing that place was. Between the neighbors, the neighborhood, the area, we still got turkeys and deer walking through the backyard every day.
Yep. Yep. And you're answering my next question, which is what is it that you love about your house? So you're answering that question for me right now.
I'm very left-brained. So when I'm looking at the house, I'm looking at all the potential, but I'm also looking at all the pitfalls. And
Yeah.
we were moving from a
A,
bigger
B, C,
house.
D, 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
We were moving from a bigger house to a smaller house. So I'm, pointing things out. Hey, we don't have as much storage. We don't have this. We don't have that. That house coming into it, it's perfect. I mean, there's nothing that we longed for in that house that is not there. We're very happy with everything that's there and the way it is, and not just that we settled for that house. It's everything that we need is there, and like I said, the area itself, we're 15 minutes away from downtown or from all the shopping and all the back into civilization, but out where we're at, it's quiet and it's open and it's like you're in the middle of nowhere. So we get the best of both worlds. Again, our neighbors have been absolutely amazing, and
I'm so happy for you guys. You got that worked out.
yeah.
Thank you.
So if everything worked out better than we thought, and like I said, we didn't know what we didn't know, like I said, and it was just amazing the way it worked out. And I know that's not always normal.
Yep.
But boy, we sure hit the lottery. So
Nice. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to
Thank
chat
you.
with me about this. It was awesome. Thank you.
I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving day with your family, ate too much pumpkin pie, and managed to get a nap in as well. If you like this video, make sure to check out this playlist of other testimonials from other clients that have moved to the area. Thanks so much for watching. Have an amazing day, and remember, love where you live.